Yes, it is MCOC news time. Hopefully you're having a great day, whatever you're doing. If you're in the UK, you might be snowed in. We're kind of snowed in. I've got to dig our way out in order to get to the shops because we're out of food. Yes. Obviously that probably means that whatever's on the shelves we're going to have to get. Lots of tin soup. That's usually quite good. Either way, we don't really prepare in the UK for snow. I know in a lot of countries they'll go, snow, big deal. It's snow 1 meter here in one day. Big deal. In this country, in the UK, we don't prepare for it, so yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance. Either way, I can make some more YouTube videos, so positives are there with that, and there's plenty of Marvel Contest of Champions related stories that we need to cover for the community. So the highlight of your day, your week, your month, or whatever is here with the news. Let's jump into it. So our first story is someone has got together a nice little poll for 6 stars. Obviously 6 stars have recently come into the game, and to a lot of people they have been seen as very kind of useful. A lot of the kind of aspects of adrenaline is really handy for players. That kind of aspect of kind of regaining back your health is cool. I myself am waiting to hopefully do 2 at the point of the next pool of champions, and they said pool of champions coming into the game. I think that's my plan, to do 2 times on them. If they ever do featured 6 stars, no, stick it up your arse, kabam, as I'm not doing that. I'm not falling for that ever again. Screw the featured. But obviously this poll has been put together, and people's thoughts really are that Deadpool X-Force is not the champion that they would like in a 6-star pool. A lot of people have said obviously this isn't the greatest pool of champions in the world, as some do agree with them, and it's like it's a very mixed kind of bag of champions. Captain America, World War II, I like. Angela, I like out of this. But there's nothing that stands out that makes me go, do you know what? I really like that champion. But I think that's going to be a usual thing. You're never going to find your favourites first when it comes to new starage being put into the game. If we ever get 7 stars, which probably will next year with the way that the game is kind of going, you would probably expect that it's going to be someone that's kind of lackluster from, say, this year being put into next year's. And anyone kind of like from the OG game, fairly unlikely you'll see them. So, yeah, if you want to take part in the poll, then there is the link always in the description. Our next story is coming from Mr. Dork Lessons himself. Yes, he reaches the news for the most positive reasons. And that is Mr. DDD with the yo has put this great forum post together about attacker diversity, this kind of aspect of offensive champions. And the way that obviously we have diversity, like champions, obviously, like a different kind of positive effects with regards to points and the points-based system from diversity, and how that can really help out an alliance to kind of get that victory. But what if the concept was stretched to offensive champions, those attackers? So you're going to find, as he puts, maybe Karnak, maybe Spider-Gwen, with someone using that for like being quite skillful. The leaders of alliances go, hey, you know, if you are going to choose these 3 champions, you're going to choose these 3 champions. Choose 3 of these 99 champions and these 3 99 champions, or 200 champions if you got the 5-star, and then obviously in the future with 6 stars. But that kind of concept that you should get bonus points for the different type of champions that are used, as opposed to us just going, hey, we've got a mystic champion as a boss. Blade. Yeah. Oh, we've got magic as a boss. Who do we use? Archangel. Yeah. Or Blade. I'll have both. Why not have both? Either way, this is cool. I like this kind of concept. They're kind of going for this. Yes, it will mean that it could mean that only one person that has Blade is the person that takes out the boss. Yeah, that is the disappointing side of things, that you would just say, okay, one person would theoretically be able to do that based on their advantage, or we say that, hey, it's they've got another champion with ability reductions on accuracy, then those champions are going to be used. Either way, I like the concept. I think there is obviously fine-tuning to do with that, but I really like the idea of kind of changing the game with this. And obviously, Dave is the pinnacle of this when it comes to coming up with these fresh ideas, or taking up ideas. And this is the great thing about management. You take an idea, you tweak it a little bit, and then you put it out with a kind of a fresh spin, which is then a whole thing about efficiency. It's Kaizen. It's like if Japanese Kaizen, the thought of constantly improving. We use it in management as a thing. We're always looking at something and thinking, how could we make it better, more efficient, less costly? Those kind of things that I kind of mean for an improvements going forward. So yeah, I strongly agree with this. I think it's good. I think we just got to work the fine tuning of it if it's a case. and then hopefully the developers can take a look and give it some support. The post has got a great amount of support in any case, with views and also comments, so I strongly suggest you go over and have your say. Maybe think of a light improvement to it, compliment Dave, up to you, but please do give it your support and time. Our next story was all about issues with power drain. Since the point of this video being released and also recorded, there is a fix to this. So if people were having Dr. Voodoo and finding that, hey, their power drain is not, or power drain damage is not doing anything, that is because there is an issue. This has been raised by Kebab Mike when the update went live, and then was then looked at by the team and then was fixed. So if you're wondering whether or not it's a problem and it has been fixed, there was a problem and now it's been fixed, so should be fine. We're using your Dr. Voodoo in future. Our next story is all about the new rewards that have been entered in to Marvel Insider. Obviously there is rewards at the moment in there, but there is a case there is some more. So we've got a Sentinel one, we've got an Ultimate. There's so many things going on. These rewards have actually been improved a little bit, which is good to see, because I wondered when it would come to the point where we'd see a better type of reward system. And yeah, 4 stars are more obtainable from this, and I use that term very lightly, more obtainable, based on the fact that it's an ultimate crystal as opposed to a just a straight off 3-star, which was used to be the case. So there has been a buff to that. I say buff, it's Marvel Insider, you can't really say it's been buffed, but it's been buffed. Now you have until the 20th of April to then claim this. I will put in a link in the description, a link to a video that shows you how to get a free Marvel Insider account. Please bear in mind that my previous account got banned. That's because I kicked up a fuss with regards to the community because they weren't getting their points, and as a result, it meant that they looked into me and kind of went, "Hey, you're from the UK, you can't have an account," because it's only meant to be for US resident citizens. So please, obviously, be warned. You could have your account banned if you kick up a fuss. Our next story is all about Sentinels, and this is kind of cool because obviously people have noticed with Sentinels coming in, we have now got these proportions of size and kind of height proportions and like height mechanics in the game, which is really cool. A lot of people have complained about the kind of concept, the camera is below the battlefield and then goes upwards, and I don't know if that's something to do with the way the mechanics work with switching the height parameters. In some ways I would have liked other champions to be a lot taller. You know, Dormammu would have been great, but either way, having Sentinel in the game is positive as well. As someone that is a big Marvel mutant fan, X-Men fan, so it's kind of cool to see this new champion, that beloved champion, also kind of like great adversary in the game, is fantastic. But it does pave the way for other ideas, the way that potentially a Galactus could work with the game, and the kind of height with that. Obviously Sentinels were meant to be huge in the game, and the kind of proportions are there, they're good, and at the same time that could mean some great stuff with regards to the way that, well, maybe a future Ant-Man buff could work with regards to height. Yes, you could say about Giant Man, and yes, you could say about Watch, and a lot of other kind of like different champions and characters from the Marvel Universe. But either way, there's a lot more they can do with that, and I strongly would like, as I said, an Ant-Man buff with regards to height. So maybe in one of his specials, for a certain amount of time, he gains height, which obviously we've seen in the MCU, and also we see in the comic books as well as other articles and places. And obviously with Galactus, if that was a possibility in the future or maybe in the following year, would we then see Silver Surfer, Doctor Doom and Fantastic Four? That again would be up for debate, and that would be pretty cool. I don't think there's a huge demand, or I haven't seen a huge demand on the character wish list, but that could all change. The problem is, I don't think the Marvel Cinematic Universe complements Fantastic Four, but I think that's really based on the previous stuff with regards to Fox and other kind of places that had the rights to Fantastic Four. If that gets shifted back to Marvel and Disney to a degree, that will be positive, and you'll probably see some kind of link up stuff in the future, and hopefully maybe a more structured and a more vibrant film, or maybe the characters coming into the MCU and the kind of the timeline of things that are going on with Infinity Wars, maybe the phase 2, not the phase 2, the phase 3, and going into phase 4. That's when you could see something. So if the game is still going in the next couple of years, which obviously we hope it is, that would we see it? Hopefully we would. And our final story is all about submissions. So I've been asked about submitting stories, And I'm going to give you an option to kind of get hold of me on social media, so like Facebook or Twitter, and just say like, is this a story for Marvel Contest of Champions news? And I'll then get back to you. I'll kind of read the story or kind of have a look at the photo, the video, and then we'll take it from there. But we'll have to discuss it first, because a lot of what I'd like to do is kind of understand whether or not it's an opinion shared by just the person, it's an idea by the person, it's an idea or kind of opinion that has significant community backing. Is it a forum post? Because that's another thing. If it's in a forum and you've put your device information and you're talking about like an issue, or you're talking about a problem in the game, that's another thing as well. We need to have like a link to it. At the same time, you have to understand that not everybody in the community could share your opinion. But if you think it's a strong opinion that everyone else will kind of like go with, or if not, it sparks a debate, and that's one thing. If we can spark a debate in game, like why is there not so much diversity in champions being put in? Why is there so much male-orientated release kind of, things like that? If we spark a debate with things, either way, yeah, submit them on social media. So Facebook message, Twitter, comment, just at me on Twitter for that. So yeah, that's how you can submit if you want to submit anything. And yes, that has been Marvel Contest of Champions news for Friday, the 2nd of March 2018. Have a great weekend. I'm going to dig us out and get to the shops because we need food. And as always, catch you on the flip side. Bye bye for now.